Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'm Lori Cashy. I am your 2025 Global Chair for the Global Business Council. Today, we are really excited to be doing this global spotlight on the Dominican Republic. I don't know that we have everybody here yet, but in the essence of time, I think we need to get started. And we have Nina Mills, who is one of our global sponsors. She is from Harding Bell International, and she's going to come up right now, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself and her company and how amazing she is. And some of you guys from our office, my Coldwell Banker office, we've had Nina in our office doing a presentation before on FERPTA, and she does an amazing job. So go ahead. Hi, Nina. You need one of these. We need a mic.
No, hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry. How about now? Is that better? Okay. So we'll start over. So hi, thank you guys for coming out here today. I'm very excited for our spotlight in Dominican Republic. I've been there once or twice, so this is extra exciting to me. But my name is Nina Mills, and I am the marketing manager for Harding Bell International. We are a full-service CPA firm that handles all U.S. tax needs, both personal and corporate level. And our specialty is for international investors. When they buy, we help them with the U.S. tax reporting. When they sell, we help them with FERPTA. And we can handle all of the in-between things, such as being a registered agent here in Florida, getting I-10s, getting EINs, helping them do operating agreements, form their company, whatever they may need from a U.S. tax perspective, we can help them with. If you guys are working with investors here in the US and you're concerned about FERPTA, we are having a FERPTA class for 2 CE credits here tomorrow. I promise it's fun and exciting. Well, I mean, as fun as exciting as FERPTA can be, right? And it's going to be in Raysom North from 10 a.m. to noon. And if you stop by my table, I have a flyer to give you more information about it. So enjoy the presentation.
Thank you, Nina.
Hi, everybody. I'm Glo Reber with the committee. Seen many of you before. Thank you for joining us today. I think we're going to have a good program. We're going to be starting with Cheryl Henderson. And Cheryl, thank you for joining us. Cheryl is with Keller Williams in Punta Cana, but she's basically an entrepreneur and does all sorts of types of interesting aspects of real estate and much, much more. So Cheryl will be speaking shortly. And then we have David McCoy, who is a global ambassador to the Dominican Republic and others. And then we have our own Bob Massanova, who will be speaking about his investments in Cap Cana. And then the last one, we will be having a very short presentation about Ocoa Bay, which is in the Dominican Republic, and it's the new development that's happening. It's going to be quite spectacular. So we're getting started with that. So Lori, why don't you start with Cheryl?
Hi, Cheryl. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Hi.
I did receive your bio, but it's really it's not as compacted as what I'm normally used to. So I'm just going to give the quick overview about Cheryl's early life. She grew up as an Army brat living in various countries, including South Korea, Germany, and the US. That global exposure gave her a deep appreciation for diverse cultures and the adaptability to thrive in new environments. So after that part, Cheryl, I'm going to ask that maybe you just give the quick overview of how you ended up in Punta Cana and in real estate there.
Yes. So the quick overview, well, a very important part of my story is that I'm an Army brat, which is the question everybody asks me is, how did you get to Punta Cana? So you actually already said that, used to adapting, living in different places. And I've actually been in real estate for the last 25 years.
Wow.
I got my license in the year 2000, right after Y2K. I was in the technology industry before with my degree in electrical engineering in corporate America. And then after the lights didn't go out, we were just kind of like, okay, let's embark on a new adventure. So my husband and I got into the real estate, and after a few years decided to move somewhere other than Philadelphia. I'm from Philadelphia. My oldest son was born there, love it there, but the weather was really cold and,
Not so great.
Yeah. And it was like, well, being an Army brat is like, I never lived anywhere for this long. Anywhere, we're good. What's next? And so we traveled around the Caribbean and landed in Punta Cana. And so now, since 2006, I have lived here in Punta Cana full time. So rounding 19 years now, and really happy to live here and to be talking about Punta Cana, Dominican Republic investments, real estate, and some of my favorite topics.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Do you have a PowerPoint presentation that you're going to be sharing today?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Let's do it.
And I understand in here that a lot of folks are talking about their projects, but the beginning of my presentation is some background about Punta Cana. So
Great.
maybe being first, it's great because then I can touch on those points and then flow about all of the amazing opportunities that we have here with some of the folks talking about their projects.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes. So buying property in the Dominican Republic. So this presentation is sponsored by KW Punta Cana, which is my market center here in Punta Cana, and also Boardwalk Developments, which is a development company that I own with my husband here. Also responsible for Keller Williams throughout all of the Dominican Republic. So we do have market centers in Santo Domingo, in the North Coast, Puerto Plata, Sosua. We have reach all over the country with new market centers and mega agent offices always opening. So anything that you need within the Dominican Republic, we can actually assist you. So I did a little bit of my introduction, so you just know who I am. I've been here a long, long time. And some things about the Dominican Republic is we're always winning awards, which is really nice because it's a nice place to vacation, a nice place to live. The economy is on the up and up. We lead with the tourism, the golf, many categories. And over time, the DR has been continuing to be on the up and up for many different reasons and on many different scales, including the tourism, the investments, vacation rentals, and that which you will hear more about today. Also, one thing that I really love that's really interesting is we win the award for the happiest country in the world. So
That's huge.
that is
Congratulations.
huge. Yes. So, and I hear this a lot from people. They're like, Dominican people are so happy and people are always smiling and saying hello. That is one of the big draws for coming here. And one of the reasons that I moved here and ended up staying was that you really feel warm and welcome here, like someplace you want to be and someplace where you are wanted. And that makes a lot of difference when you're investing, is you want to also enjoy that investment too. Or if you want to recommend a client to invest or move somewhere, you want them to go somewhere where they're going to be happy and they're going to be well respected. Some reasons to invest in Punta Cana: the natural beauty, the 32 kilometers of white sand beach. Anybody who's been to the DR will know that the beaches are the #1 draw. So if your clients are saying, why the Dominican Republic or why Punta Cana? #1, the white sand beaches. That's something really special about the country. So, and nobody will ever dispute that. So start there and you're good to go. The growing infrastructure, what I've seen over the last almost 20 years is that the government and the powers that be, for lack of a better word, have been really investing a lot in the infrastructure in the Dominican Republic. Actually, when I got here, took 6 hours or more to get from Punta Cana to Santo Domingo. Then they opened the highway about 10 years ago. That shrunk that down to about 3 hours. Some people do it in 2.5 now. I don't know how, but now they're saying there's a train coming and everyone's talking about that will even shrink it down to less than 2 hours. So it is.
Wow, that would be great.
Yes, that would be great. And what happened was, before, Punta Cana was like the edge of the earth, to Dominicans. It was like, you live way out in Mars in the middle of nowhere. And then when the highway opened, people could start really traveling back and forth. You could go to the capital in the day and come back. I mean, it's a long day, but it could be done. Whereas before, with 6 hours, you're waking up at last night, and then it's just too long of a day. So now it's like the trade and the commutes are getting really great. So that is a part of the investment in infrastructure, those things, aqueducts that are coming in some of the new areas, the ports that are coming, like a lot of investment in the infrastructure. The support for tourism, there are tax incentives for investing here. Depending on where you invest, that project might qualify for tax incentives, and also for residency for those who are interested in spending more time and making a commitment to being a part of the Dominican culture and economy. There are incentives to have expedited residency based on investment. So if anyone is interested in that, then there are lawyers who could give you all of the details about that process that we can recommend too. I do have a podcast which I've featured a little bit of everybody. We're like going on 70 episodes now, one per week, starting the beginning of last year. So a lot of professionals, bankers, property managers, people, you know, who sell furniture, developers, learn a lot about Punta Cana, including some of the lawyers who can help with residency and setting up companies and purchasing. Like if you want a chance to see who they are or what they're all about, you can connect with my podcast, which is called Punta Cana Podcast on YouTube. And
Great.
or you can
I saw the, I apologize for interrupting. I saw the blog that you had, as I mentioned earlier, about the Italian chef who is in Punta Cana. A very, very,
Yes.
very interesting, very different aspect from the real estate aspect. So it was great fun to watch.
Yes. Now I did the Punta Cana podcast, and it is not focused on real estate whatsoever. It's just about Punta Cana, people in Punta Cana, expats who come to Punta Cana. Pretty much 99% of my guests are expats or Dominicans who left and come back. So you really get a flavor for who's here in Punta Cana, what they've done, why they've come. The vast majority entrepreneurs. So the blog that you just read was the episode this Sunday, who's a Canadian who's been coming down, visiting a little bit, was doing some catering, and now he's opened a restaurant that's doing really, really well. So it's interesting podcast. I've met many interesting people myself who I'm actually doing more business with or integrating with more, but it's very interesting, not real estate focused, just really focused on the town. So could be a good source of a good resource for anyone who's interested in Punta Cana. You can just learn about who's around and what's going on around town. Economic growth, we're really in double-digit growths most years, really steadily growing, even through crises that we've had back in 08, 010, depending on where you were sitting. The pandemic that came and went, our business actually grew because we have open space. Our hospitals didn't collapse. More things that we hear are coming, and every day I have people saying, you know, I want to move, you know, at the end of the school year, and then they call back the next day and they're like, you know what, I want to move now. And people really realizing that Punta Cana can be not only a place to invest, but actually a place to live. And so that's something that has been really nice for me over time, because when I first got here, it was all about the investment, and not only investment for the moment, but people who were looking to invest for the future and plan for their retirement. Well, now they're retired, they have their places, they're making more investments, they're buying bigger houses, more people are coming to live, families with children, schools, great schools, actually a new one that is going to be opening this year that will rival the best school in the area. So we continue to get better every day.
Cheryl, can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Yeah.
Is there a chance, I have a couple people in the audience that would like to be able to see your slide better, that you could maximize that so that we could see it?
Like this?
It's getting better.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I can send you the link to this whole slideshow too, so that you can share it with people. These are just some points. I don't know if this is
Okay.
high ROI. And also safety. So this is a question I get a lot. Is it safe? Yes. I know there's been a lot of news, a big elephant in the room, Dominican Republic in the news, crazy. Just a quick perspective of mine for number one, very, very unfortunate accident, whatever happened for the family,
Yeah,
definitely
that was
feel
horrible.
for the family. So that is number one. I also want to say that it is not, in my opinion, not a situation that happened because of the location. So, you know, in defense of the Dominican Republic, young people partying for, what is that? Spring break.
Yeah,
That's what they do anywhere, everywhere. It could be anywhere, everywhere that
of
somebody
course. Bad things happen everywhere.
has a situation. So, you know, I say that just to address the elephant in the room, but the Dominican
Yeah.
Republic is really safe. I've lived here. I've raised my children here, came here with a 4-year-old. I've invested here. I've learned the language since I've been here. I feel safe, actually safer here than in the United States sometimes, because we
Sure.
do not have school shootings.
Yeah.
People are so relaxed. They're not just kind of losing it or feeling that stress. There's a
Yeah.
lot of stress right there in the environment. Now, just tension that you can really feel it, and it really affects you. We've seen people come, and one of my programs is a health and wellness program, and it's such a big difference folks, their first day they're here, then the last day they leave because they're just not as stressed out about so many things and can really come here and relax. So safety, definitely, I feel very, very safe living here. I've lived here a long time, and I would recommend that, you know, anybody come and don't have a concern about that. Actually, for me, definitely better here than in the States. I have a 9-year-old, he rides his bike to soccer practice. You know, in the States, I don't know if I would do that, but here he rides his bike to soccer practice. It's a gated community. He rides his bike back. He's 9. And I really feel, I mean, I've talked to him, you know, don't let anybody do you favors, but I don't feel that he's going to be snatched up. So,
Right.
no, that says a lot. And
That's all good to hear. Yeah. Thank
Yes.
you for sharing
these are
that.
things that are important because, you know, you're going to know about the property, and I want you to have all the information about the property, but your buyers are going to ask you all of these questions, and it's good to have these answers. You know, these are the questions that are important aside from how much is it, what's the payment plan, and where do I send the money, those kind of things. What about the lifestyle? Is my investment safe? And those kind of things, the government. So I want to talk here about the record-breaking tourism. So I want to kind of go through the process because I know I have to share the stage. I usually do this in like an hour, so I'm going to speak fast. But the buying process, definitely get with a good broker or agent. Don't work with just anybody. Please don't do that. Make sure they're reputable and they're vetted. Don't make yourself a statistic or a horror story. I just want to say that there are many good, reputable agencies. Make sure you are working with one, and that that you know that they are vetting the properties that you are buying. Also, that you get a lawyer. Don't cut corners on that. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, well, the developer has a contract and I don't have to pay. Get yourself a lawyer, please. There have been some more recent other bad news about people who have stepped into the wrong situation. But I will tell you something, with a lawyer who can do, like, they're like title agents. So they do all of the vetting. They check the background of the developer. They check the title work. They check these things for you to protect you. So don't just think that just because it looks nice or that they give you a contract that everything is correct. Get your own lawyer. Don't cut that corner. Like, it could be 1% or 1.5%. And to many, they're like, oh, that's too much money. But then they come back and say, help me out of a situation. And I'm just like,
Right. You should
lawyers.
have paid that money in the beginning. Are you
Yes.
licensed there the way that we are in the
They
United
don't,
States?
there is no licensing here yet,
Okay.
but they keep talking about it. But I tell you something, when I first heard about the licensing, I was nervous because I could not speak Spanish. That was like almost 20 years ago. I'm pretty fluent in Dominican now. I say Dominican because it's Dominican. But
Its own version.
yes, it is. It is a dialect, but I speak it very well after all these years. And there's still no test for the licensing. So be aware, you know, I would not say don't buy in the Dominican Republic because there is no licensing, but definitely find the right person who can help you, who's reputable, who's been there, done that. Buy from developers who have been there, done that. Nobody brand new. There are lots of new developers because real estate is booming. People come, they think it's easy. It is not that easy. I've been there, done that. I've developed a community, and it is not easy. It's pretty traumatic. So just be careful who you work with. I mean, they may not even know what they're doing. They may have the best of intentions. So
Sure.
just some friendly warnings.
It's the same here in Florida, and we do have licensure. So
yeah, so you know, you still have to do your own due diligence and make sure you know who you're working with. If they have a referral or other referrals, ask for those. You're spending a lot of money. You know, it's hard-earned money. Like, don't be a statistic on the wrong side.
right.
And I have been, so don't think that, you know.
What would you recommend, Cheryl, in the first steps as an agent? I mean, most of us are certified international property specialists or something like that. Would you start out with a company that has an association there in the Dominican Republic? Or what would be your best source to start, other than yourself, of course? What would
Yeah.
be your best recommendation?
Work with a reputable company that has been in the area doing business for years. There are many that have, there are so many that are brand new. I would not go with anybody who has not been around for years. I'm just saying, they don't know what they don't know.
Sure.
And they have the best of intentions, but if they're brand new, it's a whole new world. Even some of the global brand names and all of that. I mean, I'm Keller Williams. I was Remax. I mean, you know, but it's not only about the brand name. You just have to make sure you're working with somebody who knows what they're
Right.
doing, who's been there, who can tell you the truth, who can tell you the reallys about things that you should absolutely watch out for, which you should, I mean, just ask those questions. And I would definitely not, as an international agent, try to do it on your own. Vet and get with somebody first. Even if you learn from them and say, look, we're going to do some deals. This is my intention. You don't want to practice on one of your clients, right? You don't want to, you can get your certification, but hit boots on the ground. It's different. There are things you're not going to learn. I mean, I have to navigate things myself, you know, but it can be done. I don't want to say this to discourage people because anything can be done. I came here, I couldn't speak the language. I learned my way around, got a little beat up, but learned a lot. And I'm here to tell you, you know, what to watch out for so that you don't have to have those kind of uncomfortable situations with your buyers or for yourself. Okay, so make sure that you're working with the builder who's built before. Even there's so many new ones. Like, don't go with someone who just has built in the States. I mean, you know, they don't know what they don't know and how to deal with the institutions and those kind of things that can be kind of tedious. Okay, legal title and ownership. So we do have legal title here. You can get it in your own name. You can have it in a company name or a trust or whatever. You can have different entities, LLCs. That is recommended for buying so that it can be easier to sell or hand your property to somebody else. And especially this is used for the tax abatement because there is a really nice tax abatement that is only applicable to the first buyer from the seller. And if the company is the first buyer, then the owners of that company could change and maintain that benefit. So title is definitely something that is positive about. The Dominican Republic, as we have them, you don't have to have a Dominican citizen on your paperwork. You don't have to be a resident to buy. It's super easy to buy and get title in your own name. So that is
What's the time frame like going from like a contract to close as far as getting the title work done and all of that?
Yeah, it could be 3 to 6 months, similar to the United States. It could be a little bit longer because the offices are really backed up and a little bit saturated. However, if the due diligence is done by the lawyer, and let's say you're buying a resale or something that actually has the title, then once they do their due diligence and everything is signed and legalized, then basically it's just paperwork. So
Are
don't
there any
stress if it takes-
requirements? I'm sorry, Cheryl. Are there any requirements for amount of money that they have to put into it as an investor from another country?
No, no.
Okay.
No, you negotiate your deal, you buy your property, you may work with a seller that may give terms, developers can give terms. If you are buying, for example, a resale or selling a resale, there wouldn't be terms, maybe the price may be negotiable, but the title will come right away. So the process to close can be about 3 to 4 weeks for the due diligence for the lawyer to get all the paperwork and documents that they need for all the due diligence. That's the first part. So you'll start out with like an offer or a LOI or something with a deposit that is protected throughout the due diligence. And then when the diligence is up, about 3 to 4 weeks, then you sign a contract, either a final contract or a provisional contract if you're buying pre-construction. So because the contract will continue for time. And then once you get your keys, you have the title, their paperwork is signed by everybody for the purposes of the title transfer, which then takes the time that it will take.
Is the majority of your business new construction or resales?
Well, I have Keller Williams and we work a lot with resales. I also have my development company and it's all what we're building. So I deal primarily with the new construction.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do the
But
builders
I'm
happen to?
behind the scenes, so that's where it's good to be. So we're sure about everything and what we're doing and can protect our buyers. So yeah.
When you have a new company that's coming in, or an individual investor, pardon me, and going to a new build, do they offer incentives as builders for potential purchasers, either
They can.
investor or homeowner?
They can. Now, it's not like in the States where it's like pay all of my closing costs. You're not really going to see that. You may get some discount in the price based on payment schedule. Like if you have a more, aggressive payment schedule, you may get a discount. Some of them do a fly and buy. Many of them have picked up on that these days. So if you fly down, you can get some of that trip reimbursed if you buy. It makes it easier. It can be, you get your vacation paid for, or your trip paid for if you buy. So many of them will do that to just kind of help that expense, or to get you to come down and facilitate the process.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so let's see. Banking and finances, you can get loans here. You can, basically the same process as up north. Tax returns, bank statements, your credit report, those kind of things. Pretty normal stuff. It is slow, much slower than you're used to. I believe they don't give incentives for closing loans, so you have to push and call and remind and those kind of things. Be ready for that. If you need financing, be ready for that. It's going to take time. You're going to have to do a lot of following up. You're going to have to kind of facilitate the process. It can be done. People ask, can it be done? Yes, it can be done, but be ready for Caribbean time and for it not to be like a process like that.
What's the
None of
minimum amount down that you can purchase with?
The banks normally like to see you put up to 50% in, and this all changed after COVID, I'm sure, because of all of the foreclosures. Used to be you could put 20% now. For foreigners, if you don't live here, if you don't have residency, those kind of things, they're going to want more skin in the game.
Gotcha.
If you have residency, you could have favor. So this is where residency will start becoming more important. When it hasn't been as important before, it will start becoming more important. So if anybody has been traveling or is thinking about getting a residency, do it now, because it's only getting more and more complicated. I've
Yeah.
seen the process get progressively more complicated, still possible, but complicated. So now you have to start the visa process in the States. We didn't have to used to do that. More hoops to jump through as they're really like fine tuning these processes. So if you're thinking about being here or thinking about the future, start that process now. You don't have to live here to apply for residency. You could be at home and you can still apply for residency. Okay.
Okay.
All righty, so I don't know how my time is, but I can
good.
put a couple more slides and then hand it over, because I don't want to bogart.
Yeah, I
but-
think we have like between 5 and 6 more minutes.
Okay, great. So I'm just gonna go a little bit faster through this, but I'm always available for questions or one-on-ones or anything else, or I can do the full presentation for different groups.
Yeah,
open.
everybody in the room will receive a copy of your presentation as well as your information too.
Okay, great, great, great. So you can reach out to me. Property management, that's a big question. Who does it? How does it work? Yes, there are companies that do it. There are very good companies that do it, that have been doing it a long time. Since I've moved here, property management, rental properties and vacation rentals is big business. So there are good companies that have worked and that do that. They charge about 25 to 30%, but they do everything. They put the
Is
ad.
that short term?
Short term,
Yeah. Okay.
short term, short
And
term.
what about long term? Like if you just bought something for investment and you wanted to have it rented out on like on a more annual basis, would it be less?
Yes, absolutely, which is good. That's more and more popular as the businesses are coming. People are moving here. What I'm doing with the veterans, they're all wanting to rent first. The rental market long-term is something that is really evolving and growing. It's 1 month plus 10% per month generally. So
Okay.
1 month upfront for the placement that can be split, those kind of things. And the management charges like 10% per month to just keep up with everything, collect the money, deal with
Gotcha.
costs and everything. But short term, it's more money, more movement, more work.
Or work.
Yeah, exactly. And they do really everything. The maintenance, they pay the bills, they clean it, they do the check-in, check-out, any kind of repairs, facilitate everything. You really don't have to do anything from home. Okay, insurance, you can buy insurance. Referrals, how does and insurance is really easy. Let me just say, it's not complicated. It's like, did it get broken? Okay. Are you paid up? Okay. And then they get a quote and pay it. So insurance is something that's really nice and smooth here. Referrals, if you are referring clients, we do work with referrals in KW Punta Cana, 25% of the buyer side. It can be negotiable. But that is for the referrals. If you do referrals now, if you decide you want to actually work your buyer and work with your client, you can negotiate that with whoever is going to assist you, but definitely have somebody on the ground to really work with you and assist you. And you can learn from them, but don't try to do it on your own. If there's a sharing, it's better to have a good experience for your buyer. You learn, grow, than to have people telling things and they may not always be right.
Do the sellers pay compensation as well?
Yeah,
Or is it
that's
just from
how
the
it works.
buyer's side? Does the
No.
agent pay for the buyer's side, or how does that work?
No, how it works is the sellers pay the commission. The listing agent has their agreement with the listing agent, and there's a commission, like the traditional way, really.
Mm.
It still works like that here. The buyers don't have to come out of pocket to pay the commissions, but it's good for the buyers to be clear with their agents, you know, who they are representing and who they're looking out for. So,
Thank you.
you know, ask those questions. Okay, so the referrals. All righty, I think that may be the end. There are some properties that we have here. Boardwalk Developments, that's my development company. We have in Maple Beach, starting at 150,000 one-bedroom condos, 2 minutes walk to the beach. Can give you all the details for that. This is a community. So this is a community we built. It has titles. It has a comfort tour tax abatement. It rents very well. It's just right across from the beach. And now we have a new project that's coming. It's under construction right now. It's called Maple Suites. And these are starting at 170,000, really large one-bedroom suites, 840 square feet. So really large, really nice, and great investments. This project will be delivered within the year. So we're building it right now. It's all under roof. They're going to be doing the finishing. So this one is in camino. Here's some pictures of the construction. Actually, the roof is already complete. So these pictures are a little bit old. This property also already has title in hand. So titles are in hand and ready to go. And you can see in the top right one that how close it is to the ocean. So on this corner here, you have Maple Beach that's done and Maple Suites being built. You're literally 2 minutes from the beach. So these are some of our properties. We have a little bit farther from the beach, Palm Coast, starting at 160. These are 2-bedroom, 2 bathrooms with a lockout feature. This is pre-construction, so prices will go up as it is built, but these are pre-construction prices. And this is what the community looks like. So we've done the infrastructure, we've done the plumbing, the roads, the sidewalks. Now it's just for the buildings. There's apartment buildings that we will be built. What you saw there were some single family houses, villas. I think we have one resale there for 250,000. It's 3 bedrooms with a really nice pool. And these are great rentals. They're right off of the highway, close to everything. And then we have Sun Village starting at 93. I think that might be a little bit higher now. These are 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms.
Cheryl, can I interrupt you real quick and just
yes.
ask you on average what the monthly maintenance is like, the fees for these, something like that?
Great question. $2 per square meter. So your next question is, what is a square meter? And what-
Right.
I know.
Can you do the
But
math
that's
for
what it
me?
is on the contract.
so
It's
American.
$2 per square. So that's literally, but 2-bedroom, 2 bath, about 1,200 square feet is about 100 square meters. So that's going to cost you about $200 a month.
Okay.
The 1 bedroom that I said was 840. That's going to be $200 a month. Is that what I said? The 1 bedroom that I said was 840 square feet. That is 75 square meters times $2. That's $150 a month. And the maintenance covers the common area electricity, the pool maintenance, the landscaping, the garbage pickup, the water, all of those kind of things. All of those kind of community fees are covered with that because labor is low here. So, and the HOA is not run as a profit center. So you're going to pay a lot less for the maintenance of your property. And then
So that was like all of your utilities except for maybe like your Wi-Fi and cable.
exactly. And your electricity within the condo, within the home. So you have your own on the inside, your own usage and your cable Wi-Fi, which comes combined. So that's really all that you have to pay, because water and garbage pickup, all those are included in the community fee.
Okay.
Are
Okay.
these pretty much directed towards people who are just coming down to live or to invest and come down temporarily, or are they looking for people to live there? Are these resort-style developments pretty much?
Yeah, they're all gated communities. Every single one of them is gated with the 24-hour security, with their pool. They're like condominium communities. And they, like this one in Bavaro, sold $275 for a single family house, 3 or 4 bedrooms, is not right on the beach, but they're very popular for rentals. With Boardwalk, we offer transportation and a beach club, but we're not only getting people who want to come down for vacation rentals. Now, tourism is really up and the tourism is really going crazy, but we're really seeing a lot more people who want to come down and just move and live. So I love the question about the long-term rental potential. It's less volatile. You can invest less money. You get more for your money because maybe you're off of the beach path, but that doesn't mean that you cannot rent your property, especially because the community is growing with more businesses and people who are living here year-round, looking for a year-round rental. So that was a great question.
One other question about, particularly if you're having expats who are moving there, how is healthcare for somebody who's coming to live in the country?
Really good. That is a perfect question. I have to add a slide for that. The IMG is the International Medical Group. That is a hospital that we have here in the area that is actually accredited in the United States. It is the only hospital in the Dominican Republic that is accredited, and they take all of the major insurances. So all,
Wow.
basically all of the big ones, they accept because they are accredited in the United States. So the healthcare is really, really good and top notch. And I'm involved with a new project now that is working especially with veterans, where we are providing medical services, especially for veterans through a VA program that is called the Foreign Medical Program. That has been really popular. We're having a lot of veterans come down for their medical treatments, and then they're moving because they really love it here, and it's nice here, actually. The environment is better than the way they're feeling, at home, where with their medical service, or just the ambiance and just some uncertainty. So veterans are moving. A lot of people are moving. The medical care is very, very good here and better every day.
I have one other quick question. I know we've taken a lot of your time. I mean, thank you for all of that.
Here we are.
Now, in Punta
Now you
Cana,
don't have those general questions for everybody else. Can get to the nitty-gritty.
a quick question about the amenities right around there. So if I'm going to go to Punta Cana, what am I going to look for other than the beaches right off the bat? I know there's going to be a lot. I've been there, but I'm just kind of want to give people a little bit of an idea of what to expect when they come down there, because you've got to be excited about going to the Dominican Republic.
You are going to be surprised. If you've never been here, you're going to be surprised. I mean, yeah, you can go to the countryside and see the little wooden shacks. Punta Cana is not made of wooden shacks. Nice, beautiful homes and properties. The first thing that came here were the hotels that created the infrastructure. And over time, we have movie theaters. We get movies sometimes before you get them in the States. Have you ever wondered how the movie is coming out and they already have the reviews, and it's already like breaking records? Because sometimes we really get the movies here, they start them internationally. We have movie theaters, we have concerts, we have Shakira coming, we have Cirque du Soleil that comes to the country recently. They're coming to Punta Cana. Folks are coming from Santo Domingo to Punta Cana. We have Carnaval, which is something to do. It's a big celebration in February. There are nightlife, clubs, out, dancing that you can do, like pretty much everything. Pretty much we're not really missing things. When I first moved here, yes, I suffered for red meat and where to shop, because it was like, you have to go to the hotel, to the bikini shop. That's all the clothes you can find. Now we have malls with shops like Zara, that's a really popular one. And some of the really popular stores that you see, you can go and shop here and buy clothes. You can get good food at the different all the restaurants. We have even fast food here now. Starbucks, which
Oh my God. You have Starbucks. We're coming.
I used to dash when I would get off the plane in the United States and be like, where is the Starbucks? And now it's right down the street. So really, you will find that there's not going to be much that you're missing from those creature comforts of home here.
Would you say the cost of things is comparable or more expensive to the United States, like to Florida, for instance?
It really depends. That is a great question of cost of living. It depends on how you live. If you like to
Sure.
eat out all the time, it's going to cost you more. Because you're going to
Yeah.
eat out and you're going to spend that eating out money, but you're going to spend less. You're going to spend a
Mhm.
lot less. The other night, the episode that you were talking about, you watched the blogger, if you watch the episode, he was saying Sundays is 2-for-1 pasta. So I went out with my 2 kids and 2 friends. It was 5 of us. We all ate main courses. We all had drinks, even alcoholic drinks, and it was like $90.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cheap.
5 main courses. And
Wow. Was that at the
drink.
2-for-1 night or was that just a regular night?
Yeah, it was a 2-for-1 night.
Okay. All
But I
right.
thought that was
But
pretty
still,
decent. I thought that was
it's still a
still,
good deal.
I mean, you can spend hundreds of dollars really, but you're gonna, you'll be able to get lobster, those kind of things because the fish is really fresh. So restaurants, you can do really decent, and that's what's really gonna cost, right? So other than that, if you're buying vegetables, dairy products, those things super cheap because the
What do your
farms are
eggs
right there.
cost? How much for a dozen eggs?
That is so funny. I feel like that should be. I think it's
Really?
like literally it's like $1 something. And I wouldn't
Wow.
know
Okay.
because I don't look, but everybody who comes here now, they're like, how much is a dozen of eggs? So it's like, let me figure that out. They've told me like what it was, like $1 something, maybe
I have
$2. I know they're really high in the States.
Yeah. Oh my God. I paid $10 the other day
Yeah.
for these crazy blue eggs. That's all that they had in the supermarket. I have one
Okay.
more question. Hold on, from somebody in the audience.
Yeah. No worries.
Is there an MLS system there? Do you have an
No.
MLS for your, no. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
So
there
if
won't-
you wanted to look for properties online, I know like most countries have some sort of portal. What's yours called?
You know what? I would definitely just do like what I mentioned at first, just connect with somebody good and reputable, because not even everything that's on the market should be bought, even if it is promoted,
Okay. Gotcha.
So just be a little bit more careful these days. Really, they're coming down and asking people to prove more, that they really own the land, that they actually have the permits in hand, that all of those things are really T's crossed and I's dotted. So just because it's online,
Doesn't mean it's real.
no. Or
Well,
that
we have
it's
that
been
problem with
vetted.
Zillow here as well. So it
Yeah.
doesn't always mean it's real here either.
No,
Okay. I have
or that
one,
it's vetted. So
I do have another question.
yeah, go ahead. I'm fine.
Could you share what the average energy costs are like? Like, do you do a lot of solar there?
Yep.
Is electricity super expensive?
Yeah, and that depends on where you're from. So there
From
are people
California,
who
it's super cheap.
I know. So depending on where you're from, generally the electricity is thought to be more. I would say that an average 1-bedroom, maybe $100 a month. Average 2-bedroom, maybe a little more, maybe 150, depends on how much you use your air conditioning, because that is your biggest draw.
Sure.
If you're running air conditioning like me, you're gonna pay more. If you live where you can put on a ceiling fan and open the doors, where most areas in Punta Cana will get the nice breeze from the ocean, then you're going to spend a lot less. But your big expense is going to be for AC. And if you need it, it's worth it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's worth
I
it, but
hear
it will seem like it's a little bit more. There is solar here. So you can do the solar if you get everything connected with where you live, and if the electric company collaborates with that community in particular, then you could take advantage of solar. But in general, the cost of living is much less here than what you're gonna find back home.
Gotcha. Okay.
Your money will go farther.
I have one more question for you, and it's about rental restrictions. So do you have Airbnb there, I'm sure?
Yes.
Here in the States, we're facing a lot of restrictions for different, on a citywide level, countywide level. Do you guys have restrictions like that?
It's political. You didn't ask my opinion, but I think it's political.
Yeah.
No, and the reason is because Punta Cana has grown because of tourists. I mean,
Sure.
how did all of this get built? Is because of the short-term rentals. So, no restrictions here. You can buy as many as you can afford. You can rent them as much or as little as you want. A lot of the communities don't have stipulations about that. You can rent for one night, you can rent for 2 nights. There are community ordinances, like you don't want the loud music after 11 o'clock, but it's not based on it being a short-term rental or an owner. In some areas in Santo Domingo, they're starting to change, like builders will build like 3 buildings and one will be family building and one will be investment building, like having different characteristics of the buildings. That is not in Punta Cana right now. Most of the people who want to rent long-term are not exactly on the beach unless they really want to be on the beach. But
Right.
there's nobody saying how, what, when. That really here, it does not exist because this is a transient community. We grew
Right.
up as a tourist town, so we're not going to say you can't rent your place to, a tourist.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Do I have any other questions in the audience? Yes, I have one. So the question was, as a realtor here from the United States, I guess anywhere, could we move to the Dominican and get a job working for a builder?
Yeah,
Was that your question?
yeah. They're hiring. They need people to sell.
Oh, hold on one second. Say it again. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The question was, I think she sort of touched on this already, but her question was, can she sell houses to her buyers here in the United States, from the United States, and can she contact the builders directly to earn a commission to sell them that property?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
You
Okay.
can do that. For example, with Boardwalk, you can contact my developer directly for all of our inventory and work directly with the inside sales team that works directly for the builder. Now, if you are looking for resales and those kind of things, or if you want an agent who will go beyond just that, then Keller Williams, obviously, you can go to any of our agents to work with you for any of the inventory we have in our portfolio.
And that would be done typically for a 25% referral fee is what she said, right?
Yeah, yes, a referral fee, if you're gonna give the name here, here's somebody, good luck.
Right.
Sometimes there are agents who are more active, which we support that. I definitely support that. Love bringing agents and people and everybody from the state saying, come down. So we do have where agents will be more involved with their buyers, maybe travel
Accompany
with their
them.
buyers, maybe be more hands-on, in which
Mhm.
case you can earn more, which we encourage that. We want you to promote and make international real estate very intentional. Not that somebody is like, oh, can you recommend me somebody? But no, go out there and say, look, have you thought about it? Here's, to really consider it a business. So
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
I'll work with you on that.
Awesome. Well, I think that's everything from here. Thank you so much. You were so informative and thorough. We're all excited about coming down to the DR now.
Yeah.
I think that if you can still hang out for a little bit, I
Yeah.
think that we were hoping, just in case we had any future questions that come up in the rest. But next, we're going to move on to David
McCoy.
McCoy.
Right. Can you hear me?
Just holler if you need me. I'm going to turn off my camera and mic.
Thanks,
But I'm
Cheryl.
here. I'm here. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope to hear from you. Subscribe to the podcast, please. I would love that. We put
Tell
a
me
lot-
again, what's the name of it again?
It is Punta Cana Podcast on YouTube. Or you can go to Cheryl Henderson Punta Cana. You will learn a lot. You will learn a lot, and it's good to have information about what's going on here. So,
And not only that, they're
Thanks,
fun
Cheryl.
to watch. So I certainly highly recommend watching those podcasts.
yeah,
Thank you, Cheryl.
thank you. Thank you very
We're
much.
moving on now to David McCoy. Welcome, David. David is a global ambassador for the North Central Americas and the Caribbean. He's been a licensed realtor specializing in commercial real estate in Kentucky and Indiana since 2001. His focus is on consulting and marketing for commercial and international buyers, sellers, landlords, tenants, and investors. He has been active with National Association of Realtors Global since 2013, when he was first appointed as the NAR President's Liaison to Jamaica. He was subsequently appointed as a global ambassador to the Bahamas, Bermuda, the Dominican Republic, and Jamaica. He holds a CIPS, Certified International Property Specialist, at home with diversity, EPRO, and real estate negotiations expert designations that are from the NAR. He has spoken at real estate conferences in Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Mexico, and the US, and of course now us. He has been an active member of his local real estate association since 2001, and he's got an MBA from the University of Texas at Austin and a BS from Vanderbilt. In addition to NAR Global, he has done volunteer work with the National Immigrant Justice Center, WaterStep, the United Way, and the University of Texas. David, welcome, welcome. We're so pleased you could join us today.
Thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to be with you. I have a lot of friends from Sarasota. I think I've probably met a lot of you guys at some of the NAR conferences over the years, and I know that I have met some of you abroad. Some of you I met in Panama a few years ago, and some of you I met in Colombia a few years ago. And
We met you in Panama last year, David, so good to see you. I just wanted to say hi.
yeah, it's good to see you too. And of course, my old friend who was actually my mentor, Carla Raymond Kid.
Oh, she just
I know
walked out of the room.
lives
She was here and she'll be right back.
she had my position before me, and so she and I are great friends. So it is really a pleasure to be with you all today. And if I may, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Please do.
All righty. All right. Well, I'm going to be a little bit of a broader base first, and also, many props off to Cheryl. Cheryl did a wonderful job. So hats off to her. She offered an awful lot of information. So I'm going to be talking a lot about NAR, about the global program. A lot of you guys, I think most of you guys are CIPS, so you may know a lot of this. And then we'll go to the Dominican Republic, kind of wrap up on that. And I'll try to go pretty quickly because there is a lot of information here. So you all are probably familiar with NAR. Our NAR global area is divided into 6 regions. Currently, we have bilateral partners in 80 plus countries. And we have more than 100 bilateral partners in those countries. So our purpose at NAR Global, we are trying to promote global business opportunities for realtors. And when I say realtors, I'm talking about all realtors. I'm talking about both the realtors who are domestic here in the United States and our international realtor members. We promote professionalism and ethics in real estate globally, and we try to promote education, networking, and ethics. I'm going to talk a little bit. This is all going to kind of go, we're going to kind of go all over the map here. Sort of my particular area. So I mentioned that we have 6 regions. I'm the global coordinator for North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. In that region, we have 14 countries. It covers around 200 million people, basically 2 languages, English and Spanish. And our region has the largest number of international realtor members. Presently, NAR has right around 8,500 international realtor members. And somewhere, I can't remember, I think the last time I checked, we were a little bit more than 5,000 of those in our area. All right. All right, when we're looking at global real estate investment, and this is largely in the United States at this time, you all are probably aware every year in the summer, usually in June or July, we have a research report done by NAR, which talks about global investment in the U.S. And the most recent year, which ended it actually goes March to March. So it was 2023, but ending in March 2024. There was $42 billion of foreign direct investment in residential real estate in the United States. The peak was in 2017 at 154 billion. We were down around 21% from 2022. The biggest investors are, and the top 3 are almost always Canada, China, and Mexico. The others change around a little bit. But again, our biggest investors, Canada was number 1, China was number 2, Mexico number 3, then India and Colombia. The top investment states are Florida, Texas, California, Arizona, and Georgia. Let's see here. Let me come back to that part. So one of the things that is going on, and these are more global trends, but it's things that affect everything in our region. And honestly, I would say that our region, it's not really, I wouldn't say that these are trends that are beneficial to everybody, but our region will probably benefit from them. There's all kinds of things going on. One thing that is happening that you don't hear too much about is there is a global population collapse. It is very likely that we have or are about to reach our peak population for the Earth, at least for a while, and then it should be declining. We're seeing this all over. The number one biggest one, China, up until recently, had been considered the largest population in the world. They had said that they had 1.4 billion population. They are now second to India. And these are their official figures. It is thought that their official figures still greatly overestimate the actual population. There are some people, I can't confirm this whatsoever, but there's some people that say, based upon the reported figures that China has given us themselves, if you do the math on it, that they think that the population is probably closer to 800 million. So it's possibly overstating their population by a third. And so throughout Russia, we're having the same thing happen. There is the population of Russia, the population of Germany, the population of Italy, all of them have gotten much, much older. And so they are actually all in population decline. Canada has been that way. Canada had a big increase in immigration in the last recent years, say the last 5 or so years, that really kind of mitigated that population loss that they were a while expecting. But this is a trend that is affecting things as people age out. You're having a lot of people that really it kills a lot of their economic activity. And a lot of these people are looking for places for safety and retirement, honestly. Um, the war in Ukraine, this has been going on now. We just, I think, passed the third anniversary of that. And the reason that affects real estate is it affects things in terms of energy, in terms of food, in terms of refugees. And, we have the European countries rearming. There's a lot of issues that this has brought on. And so a lot of these things are all intertwined. They're intertwined with COVID and intertwined with a whole bunch of other things, but I think that it has led us to this point. And I would say that, we've had this immigration issue here in the United States, but it hadn't only been in the United States. It's been in Europe, it's been in Canada, it's been a lot of different places. And I think a lot of these global factors are kind of the reason that a lot of these things are happening. The thing about Ukraine, between Russia and Ukraine, the two of those countries together, if I remember my figures correctly, they produced something like 40% of the wheat of the world. And so with them taken offline, that creates tremendous food pressure on all kinds of countries. So it kind of goes all over the place. Same thing with energy. With Russia kind of taken out, it really affects the energy available to the rest of the world. So we've had, in some places you've had shortages of energies. In some places it's just been so expensive that it, is very difficult to get. So we have all of these things kind of going on, and they affect kind of everything. All right. Boom. All right, so kind of because of these things, these are creating what I call global migration factors. We have war going on in Europe. We have war, in Israel, Hamas. They've had wars in Africa and all these things. So there have been a lot of war refugees, and those guys are putting immigration pressure on a lot of the world. The COVID restrictions, we're a little bit past the COVID now, where it's not so big a deal as it was, but there were a lot of people that were moving because of COVID restrictions, and they were trying to get places where, in fact, that drove a lot of investment in the Caribbean in, 2020, 2021, 2022, is there were a lot of people that were trying to set up a place where they could go, where they were not restricted as to where they could be. And so I was going to mention this in a second, but Dominican Republic really benefited from that. Dominican Republic barely shut down at all. And there is such a big difference in the Caribbean between the countries that shut down and the ones that stayed open. And Dominican Republic stayed open most of the time. Another thing, and some of these things are in transition now with COVID. Some of this predated it, but it also was just kind of enhanced by those things. We had golden visa programs in a lot of countries. We had digital nomad visas in a lot of countries. And so a lot of people that were kind of, online workers, they were going to places like Dominican Republic, like Jamaica, kind of all over to be places where they could be, a lot of them, it's like, if I'm going to be, if I have to stay in my house, I'd like to be somewhere that I really like. Maybe the place, maybe where the weather's better, maybe whatever it might be. So there were a lot of investment in the countries that stayed open for that reason. Governmental policies. And this kind of goes back to what we were talking about COVID. There were a lot of lockdowns and protests and financial policies that a lot of people were unhappy with. And so some of this is government driven. Some of the people are looking to go places where they feel like they don't have to worry about that. Food, energy, and supply. So one of the things I think that the way I think of this, if we put it under a big umbrella, is I think that what we have is the thing that is ultimately driving all of this is a desire for security. And by security, that's on multiple levels. It's like, does the place have enough food? Because with these food pressures from war and everything else, there's some places where food is hard to come by. Is there enough energy? If I go somewhere, am I going to have electricity? Am I going to have heating if it's cold, or air conditioning if it's hot? And, are we going to be able to reach the things that we want? And one of the things that happened during the COVID, I think we all remember, is we realized that our supply chains were really at risk globally. And in the US in particular, some of this had already started, but in the US in particular, there was a lot of concern about, are we even going to be able to get things? And some of them were critical elements. Like during COVID, it was revealed that something like 95% of the medicines for the United States were produced in China. And so it's like, well, we can't have a disruption in these kinds of things. We can't afford it. So this was already beginning to happen anyway, but there was a big push to kind of reorient all of those supply lines and kind of bring them back closer to the US. Another thing, we mentioned the population declines. This is happening throughout Europe. It's happening it's to a lesser extent. The US actually has a fairly consistent population. So it hasn't been quite as big a deal for the US, but it is kind of and in fact, like in Germany basically, their economy basically has been shut down. Not entirely, but they haven't had the energy, they haven't had the workers, they haven't had things. And so especially during winter, they were having to choose between having energy for heat for their residents or energy for industry. And so Germany has really been in steep decline. We've had large retirement populations as we're getting to this point where we have so many people aging in the world. And so that is also another thing where those retirement populations are looking for places where they can go, where they feel like they like the weather. They have security in food and energy. One of the big things, which was a question here earlier, is there healthcare available to us here? What is the cost of living? And another thing is like financial security, and that has to do with the economies. Am I moving to a place where the economy is good, where you can get a job if you want a job, where I feel like if I invest, my investment is safe, that I won't lose it. So these, I think, are some of the really big factors kind of going on in the world today. And those are global, as I said, factors, but it really feeds into our region. These are all things that are driving people into our region in North America and the Caribbean and Central America. And that is that, people want to go someplace where they feel safe, where they're safe from war, where they're safe from crime, where they're safe financially, where their money will not be where it's safe in a safe banking system, and all of these things. So all of this has this kind of rethinking globalism, and some of this is going to be some of the stuff we talked about before. It's like, hey, we need to be sure that our medical supplies, that is not at risk. We need to be sure that those are taken care of. We also need to identify strategic and essential industry, and we need to be sure that we have complete control over that entire supply chain. And with the supply chain, we also need to think about our political issues. How is this going to affect us? And tariffs right now, tariffs, of course, are a very big deal. I don't know exactly where all of that's going to go, but these are all things that people are considering. So, from a broad perspective, even though some of this stuff is going to be messy and it's going to take a while, honestly, for things to kind of settle in, I do think there's going to be continued migration pressure from people in the rest of the world wanting to move into the northwestern hemisphere. I do think that that's going to continue to push investment. In terms of investment in Central America, also South America and the Caribbean, the US has been moving their supply chains close to home. And so we call that, you've probably heard this term of nearshoring. And so there has been a big movement of nearshoring back to the US or places near the US. And that has really driven a lot of economic growth throughout this entire region. It's continuing to grow as we go, and it's expected to continue for some time. It's a multi-year, maybe even multi-decade process to kind of reorient these things here, which is good for us. It will unfortunately be at the expense of some other places in the world. I mean, some of the other places of the world are going to be losers in this game. But at least for now, we in North America will largely be benefiting from it. All right, so all of that said, I don't know what I can offer that Cheryl didn't already tell you. She did such a wonderful job talking about Dominican Republic, but let me, talk on a few things. So Dominican Republic, first of all, some of this stuff I know some of you all will know, but maybe not everybody. It's actually the island of Hispaniola, and Hispaniola is Dominican Republic and Haiti. And so that is one of the first, maybe the first island that Christopher Columbus came to when he came to the Western Hemisphere. And so because of that, it's a very old city. I mean, you wouldn't think that. I don't think we think about that here very much in the United States, but it's probably about a 500-year-old city. And so it's an amazing country. Dominican Republic is a very warm country, and the largest city and the capital is Santo Domingo. They have a population of around 12 million people. Largest investor in the Dominican Republic is the U.S. It's approximately $785 million foreign direct investment. And so there are a lot of people, when you're looking at DR, and I try to look at it in both ways. So the other thing is that there's a large Dominican Republic population that has immigrated to the United States too. The three largest cities as of I think it was 2022, 2023, in terms of population of Dominican residents. New York City with 740,000 residents from Dominican Republic. Peterson, New Jersey, 46,400, and Lawrence, Massachusetts, 46,100. So up there in New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, there is a very large population of Dominicans in that area. We had, and Cheryl mentioned this, the tourism in 2024 was about 11 million people. Tourism is about 20% of their GDP. In terms of tourists, number one is people from the US. Number two is Canada, and number three is Colombia. But they draw people from all over. Dominican Republic is a very, very popular vacation destination. I'm told that, from people in Argentina that it's very popular for Argentinians to go there. It's also popular for people from Brazil and people from Mexico. So it is a very, very popular tourist destination. And one of the things, again, we mentioned is they did not shut down during COVID. So they really benefited from that. If you go there, I've been to Dominican Republic 4 or 5 times now for various conferences. They put on great, great conferences. They do speak Spanish. That's their number one language. In the resort areas, it is more common to be able to find people that speak English in the resort areas, but it is very much a Spanish-speaking country. So I have been there maybe 4 times. I've spoken at their conferences a few times. I can tell you, it is wonderful to go there. They are very warm, very loving people. Oh, one thing I do want to do, while we're talking about NAR, Cheryl was talking a little bit about doing business there, and I think that she probably has overall the best information for you. But let me talk a little bit about that. Our bilateral partner in Dominican Republic is AEI, which I think is Asociación de Agentes y Empresas Inmobiliarios, which I believe is Association of Agents and Real Estate Companies. And so we have a bilateral partner there. And so we also have several bilateral, let's see if we can, I think my search button is covered by the pictures. So, so we have something like 75 international realtor members who currently in Dominican Republic. And you can see, so one thing that we do, like if somebody calls me and says, hey, can you find me an agent in Dominican Republic, or can you do that? What I usually do is I do just this. I go to NAR's website, I go to their member directory, I choose Dominican Republic, but I'll ask some other questions too. And so I'm like, where are we looking? What city are we looking for? Are you looking for a buyer? Are you looking for a seller? Are you looking for commercial? Are you looking for residential? Are there any language requirements? And those are things I do. So when I get that information, I usually get a pretty short list of maybe, as few as one, but maybe as many as 10, and try to match it as much as I can. And then I will send those to people. But if you are looking, I would say that is an excellent place for you to look. If you need someone who speaks English, there is a language section on that. You can choose English or whatever language, and you can just kind of see if they have anybody there. I have had this discussion where people, and I agree with what Cheryl said, but I think I maybe want to modify that a little bit. One of the things, we'll have people who say, well, it's legal to go, sell real estate in Dominican Republic. And, we actually have this come up a lot in NAR, where people feel like they can go into another country where they're not a resident and start practicing real estate. And sometimes that's what people will say. Well, there's no law that says you have to be licensed there, so it's okay. And I'm going to tell you that, well, even if there's not licensure law, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's legal for a non-resident to go in there and be selling real estate. I mean, normally, at the very least, you need to have some sort of a visa that would allow you to work there and do business there. And if you don't have that, it can create major problems. And I do know that there are people who work sometimes directly with developers. I think that that's something. One thing that's very important, you guys are a pretty sophisticated group of people, so you probably know this, but I like to mention it to people, is if you are going to set up a situation where you're getting paid from another country, you really need to have a written and signed agreement as to what you're getting, why you're getting it, and how much, because without that, you could be considered money laundering. And so that can be a pretty big deal. And so you do want to make sure of that. But I would say that we recommend that you guys work with agents in the country, because these are the people, like Cheryl, who they know the business, they know the laws, they know the properties, they know a lot of the reputations. And I think it's fine if you want to go with a client and maybe, visit some properties with them, but I would strongly, strongly suggest you be working with local people in those countries. And we have a lot of really wonderful international realtor members, and AEI is a good partner. They are very good friend to NAR, and so you can find a lot of people there who can do that. I can tell you a little bit. So I will mention. I'm always talking longer than I think. I'm sorry about that. But
You're just fine.
so a few things that are kind of coming up. I've been to a number of conferences and they are wonderful. I mean, they have really great presenters, but you never know what's going to happen. I mean, I've been to a few of them, and just two or three times in the middle of the conferences, all at once a band starts up and everybody jumps up and starts dancing. And I mean, it's just like this unbelievable atmosphere, and the guys, they are so wonderful. I speak some Spanish. I wouldn't say I'm fluent, but they are just so good-hearted and teasing and all this stuff. And they're like, thank you for coming, but don't come back until you speak Spanish and you can dance. So it's like, all right, I'm working on it. So so they are really, really wonderful, wonderful people.
You
Um,
do have an event coming up though, don't you, David? There's something
yes,
coming up in August.
thank you for mentioning that. Many of y'all are probably familiar with an organization called SELA, and that is, in the best translation in English, is the Latin American Real Estate Association. And SELA has a conference once a year, and that is going to be hosted this year in Dominican Republic. AEI will be sponsoring it, and it will be in Punta Cana. They wanted to make it a very nice stay. They are actually doing their conference and the SELA kind of mashed together so that they have more time. And they wanted to make it a really nice conference where people could come and stay. And if they wanted to stay over an extra few days with their families or something, they could have a nice vacation. It is going to be, I think it's the Hard Rock Cafe in Punta Cana, which I believe is on the beach. And it is at the end of August. I believe the date is August 23rd. And it's a few days, and they were trying to time it toward the end of, towards Labor Day. So that it would be at the beginning of that, and then it would be Labor Day weekend. And
Great.
so it is a wonderful, wonderful conference. They are wonderful, wonderful people. And Punta Cana it is hard to beat Punta Cana. I mean, it's really, really hard to beat. And I'm trying to see if I've forgotten anything. I think I've run a little bit long. I'm sorry about that. I am happy to answer any questions, or hopefully this was stuff that you all found helpful.
Absolutely. It was super informative. Thank you so much. I think we're running just right on time. Does
Oh, great.
anybody have any questions in the audience for David? No, I think you were super thorough.
Let me ask you a question, David, quickly. Now, you work with the other countries as well. How does it differ between the other countries that you're representing as an ambassador? Do you see a big difference in your responsibilities as a global ambassador?
Well, so I have like 14 countries, and about half of them are Spanish speaking. And I will say there are some pretty big differences between the areas. And some of it has to do with license law, some of it has to do with the way they practice. Um, I would say that, so in my region, I would say we have 4 or 5 countries that are kind of our stars. And what I mean by that is in terms of number of members, how active they are and those kinds of things. And number one, far and away, by number of international realtor members is Jamaica. Jamaica has nearly 2,000 international realtor members. And so they have a very, very advanced real estate industry, with licensure and everything else on par with the United States. Number two is Mexico. Canada would be in there too, but Canada is sort of a special case. We have about 1,600 international realtor members in Canada. We have between 1,000 and 1,200 in Mexico. Mexico licensure, throughout Central America, they're starting to get licensure. It has been moving kind of slowly, but pretty steadily. And I think more than half of the states in Mexico now have licensure. And so each one of them is a little bit different, I would say. Also, in terms of property rights, there's a little bit different. So you kind of need to, again, I would really, really strongly recommend you work with local brokers to make sure that you understand what those situations are. In Mexico, for example, and this is not uncommon, there are other places where this is true too. Foreigners cannot buy property within certain areas, and usually like within the beaches, you can't buy stuff like on the beach or anything else. And so if you don't know that, you might, buy a property you don't know of and you can't really own it, and you may have paid for it. And so you really want to work with people who know the laws and kind of know what's going on. In Mexico, in some of those areas, there are workarounds to do that for you to do it, but you have to be working with somebody who knows what they're doing. I don't know if that answered your question. I hope it did.
No, it did. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else have another question? Carla? David said hello to you while you were out.
She
Don't know if
said
you
hi, honey. I don't know if
honey.
you can hear that, but she said
Hi,
hi, honey.
Carla.
Okay, anybody else? Thank you. David, thank you so much. We appreciate it. I'm
Thanks,
sure there
David.
may be a few more questions for you. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next one is our local friend, Bob Massanova. Bob, thank you for joining us today. As most of you know, he owns Southwest Florida Home Inspections. Bob is from, I looked up his bio, he is from Philadelphia. He's had an interesting background of owning a variety of different businesses, particularly a pizza place and several other things in addition to that. Fun stuff. And he also owns Sign Tracker, a real estate sign post company. He also owns Air Pros, an air conditioning company. He has, and he will tell you about this, multiple timeshares that he would love to sell. And he is also obviously a real estate investor. And he is, when we get into his Capcana, he's also the first affiliate member in Florida to become an RPAC Hall of Fame member, which we should all give him applause for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
At any rate, he is a major investor in Capcana in the Dominican Republic. So we'll have a lot of questions for him as well. Thank you.
So I'm talking today about Capcana. I am, like I said, I am an owner there. I invested $1 million into our company. We have 17 properties that we own, and we share in it. So Capcana is a 34,000 acre resort. Think about Sarasota having a fence around it. It's basically what it is. It is not an all-inclusive resort. There are some all-inclusives in there that you can get into, but we are not an all-inclusive resort. We have properties that we can own, use, and we also Airbnb, VRBO them. So we make money behind the scenes to help us, so we don't have to spend money out of our pockets. So Capcana is owned by a family. The whole resort is owned by the family. It is part of the Dominican. Yes, it is under Dominican law, but the rules are set by the family, what we're allowed to do in there. So think about it this way here. This is what it looks like. These are a lot of where our ownerships are. Puntacana Village is really, really, really important. It's right outside of Capcana. It's not far from the airport. What is interesting, what Cheryl brought up, is about the VA. They have a Veterans Affair there, which is top notch. When she was saying that veterans want to go there, there's a reason. That facility is phenomenal for veterans and their families. They get massages, they get, what goes on inside there is way better than what they get in the US. And we've met quite a few veterans that go there and own in Capcana because of that. Like I said, when you look up right above Punta Cana Village, that's where the airport is. The first big dot above Marina Cop, that's the entrance into Capcana. That's a gated community. That's where all the residents, renters all come in. And then they have a separate entrance for all the workers come in. Workers have to check in and out every single day. So we're safe and secure. There's a lot of money invested in this area. My favorite place is Punta Palmera. That's where my favorite unit is. It's right on the water, and we'll eventually get to show you that. So I belong to a group called El Grupo Thornberry, Dominican.us.com. That's where all the investments are made in through us. It is a United States LLC. There's nothing hidden about it. It is not a Dominican company. We are making sure that everything is done properly, correctly, legally when people make an investment. This is what the website looks like. We have ownership opportunities, a VIP program. It talks about all the opportunities, the things to do inside of Capcana once you're there. So under El Grupo Thornberry, there's a couple things you have. We have fractional ownership. We have the 25K VIP ownership. And then you think about what a timeshare is about. We are not a timeshare. We're not looking to get fees out of everybody every single year. The idea behind this, like I told you earlier, we want to rent the places when nobody is there. So it takes away from the money coming out of our pockets. I've been there a year and a half and have not had to pay a penny except my initial investment. So that's the idea. We want to make sure that whoever invests enjoys what they have, and then you don't have to worry about writing that check every year. Not a timeshare. So the fractional ownership, let's talk first about the 25K VIP. My partner, Nathan, he's the major investor. I'm the second investor, and the second major investor. He came up with this idea for $25,000. You can get 10 days a year for 5 years straight. You get picked up at the airport. You have a concierge that is going to make sure that everything is set up for you. Once you're there the first time and you bring clothes in, they store your clothes. They store everything for you in an air-conditioned area. When you leave, they pack everything up. They actually take pictures of where everything of your place is. So when you show up again, even a year later, your stuff goes exactly where it was that time for the next time. So we actually have 11 people that work for us. We have services, concierge, property managers, maintenance. So we have people that are doing things 24/7 down there for us. When you do the VIP, you also, you order your food ahead of time. Your food is in your refrigerator when you get there. Like I said, you're picked up, dropped off at the airport. Any place you want to get around, you have somebody driving you everywhere. That is what the VIP program is about, taking care of you and getting things done, to be comfortable and enjoy it. It's not an all-inclusive, so you're not going to get your drinks. You're not going to, for free. So you do have to, want to order alcohol in, things like that. It can be done. Sorry? There are restaurants there, yes. And we'll talk about that. So the fractional ownership is the biggest thing, that's what I'm involved in. And this is the part that I believe in. So for $100,000, you get 21 days a year. You get a choice of whatever properties we own. You get to choose whichever one you want to stay in when you go there. Doesn't have to be the same one every single time. There's no transfer fees. There's nothing like that. We want you to be able to go there and have fun, experience all the different areas in Capcana. So, I said, you get picked up, dropped off the airport. I have use of a car when I'm there. As an owner in a fractional ownership, you have a car, so you can drive around. That's a big thing. You don't have to worry about getting a taxi or Uber in that area to get around. There is many things to do. So You look at all that, we can stay where you want. My favorite one is called J11. We'll show you the pictures of that later. But I've also stayed at other places because I wanted to experience what it's to be on the water or off the water. So like I said, fractional ownership, that's what I'm involved in. The VIP experience is for people that want to have an off the chart experience when they're there, 10 days a year for 5 years straight. There's no, and after that, you can, they charge a little bit extra if you want to continue on after the 5 years. We're not sure after 5 years whether prices will go up or down. We're not sure. And that's 5 years out. So, but like I said, when there's something going on with El Grupo Thornberry, we're having a party, something like that, we'll make sure that you're picked up, dropped off, you're there. Everything, we want to make that experience unbelievable, make you want to come back again. So where we just talked about what you get for the 25,000 VIP. All these things are involved. Beach guide, there's a nightlife. If you want to go to a club, we'll make sure you get there, inside or outside. We'll make sure that you can get to the supermarket, pick up other things that you need. You know, like I said, it's stress fee, no fees, one time, 25,000, 5 years, 10 days a year. If you want to book more than the 10 days, we have the Airbnbs, VRBOs. We do have season, non-season down there. It's just like here in Florida. Wintertime is crazy down there. Summertime is not as bad. So my unit that I love, during the wintertime, it rents for $360 a night. Off season, $125. Because it's just the way it is. I mean, it works that well, but people come down. The biggest thing about Dominican, I can tell you, is the weather. I'd say pretty much 84 degrees all the time, but it all depends how many sun lamps are on you. Wintertime, 1, 2 sun lamps. Starting June through October, 7 sun lamps. So it's about the sun, not the temperature. So you have to hide from the sun in the summertime. 11:30 to 2:30 every single day during that time period, we go in and work. I work on a home inspection company. I do all my work, anything I have to do inside, I'm working in the afternoons to be out of that sun. It's just, you can't be out there. If not, I'll be fried.
A rainy season? Like, is it a rainy season like ours?
Yeah, we do have rainy season. I mean, it's pretty interesting. Hurricane wise, they haven't been hit with a hurricane since Fiona, which is, I think, 2017.
But they do get hurricanes.
They do get them, but they pretty much bypass. Haiti gets hit more with them than we do. We're on the southeast of the country, the southeast point of the country. Haiti is over 250 miles away. They get hit more than we do. It's just to pay the way the currents go that year. But we haven't had a hurricane in forever. We do have rainy season. So, and it's just like here. It may rain, it may not rain. You may see the rain about a half a mile away, but it may not be raining where we're at. It's just exactly like our weather. And you said fractional ownership. To me, this is the best that you can do down there. It's $100,000. You can put 50,000 down. We'll finance the other 50,000. You get in there, you get to pick a property every time you go down. You get 21 days a year through fractional ownership for the 100,000. You can pick units. Most units have 1 bedrooms. Some of them have lockouts. Understand that if you have a 1 bedroom, I don't know if you understand what a lockout is. It's a 2-door unit, 2 separate complete units. The lockout will have a bedroom, a very small kitchen, small refrigerator, will have a stovetop, master bathroom, a bathroom. And if you do that, you use them 14 days a year if you do a 7-day event. So if you bring a family or other friends, every unit is considered your time. It's not that you can take as many as you want people down there and use as many units as you want. So when I go down, I try to bring somebody, I always try to bring someone with us to use the lockout because I get 365 days a year down there and I can't use 365. I can't live there all that long. I'd go nuts if I had to work there because I need something to do all the time. I am not ready for vacation 24/7. So you get to use that. And if you need more time, you get to rent depending on when you want to be there. But like I said, you have concierge, servisa. If you want somebody for the day to be with you, you can get a servisa for $50 a day. She will work with you all day long. If you're sitting at the pool outside of one of the units, she'll go back and forth, get your food. She will bring your drinks down to you. She will set up your chairs. She'll pick everything up when you're done. That's what the experience is about down there. It's about going down there, having fun, if you're ready for that. Me, I'm not ready for that. I'm still used to doing things by myself.
The developments are part of that, Bob. How many units and
What's that?
how many sections in this Capcana area? Developments, how many numbers of rooms and that type of
Wow,
thing?
they are building so much down there. Every time we go down there, in our group right now, we have 17 units. We're getting ready to buy a 5-bedroom unit. So it's going to be when the bedrooms come in, when it comes in that way, it'll be more nights because it's so big. So we're trying to get something to bring more families in our group or rentals in. But yeah, we have 17 units and they're absolutely gorgeous. With the ones we buy, we try to buy them 30 to 40% under value. And let me tell you, they go in and they clean these places up. They are primo when they're done. You would not believe, we go in there to some of these Airbnbs that we buy. They are actually Airbnbs. They're pigsties. I mean, they were slumlords that are renting these places. We take them and make them absolutely beautiful, top line furniture, paintings, everything are awesome when we're done, all brand new appliances. So we try to take them and make it, like I said, we're looking for that experience when you're there.
Then the whole development, how large is it in addition to the 17 that you're part of? How large, I mean, are there 300 units so you have options to purchase or, what is?
You can, people can buy in there. I can't even tell you how many units are in there. This place, like I said, is used, and we'll talk about a couple of developments in there. So what they do is when they're building, everything is made of concrete, including the roofs. Everything is concrete. There is no wood in these properties. They sell when they're looking at a development, building a development in an area. They actually put it out there that it's up for sale. When they have enough investors to build that, to buy every single unit, then all of a sudden they build it. Within like 6, 8 months, it's done because somebody has bought that. Oh yeah, it's not even 40%. It is nowhere. There is so many acreage undeveloped there. It is unbelievable. But like I showed you in that first map, everything is really tight where they're building right now. They haven't expanded out. They're looking at building a main entrance in from Brevard, coming in that way, which is probably about a year out. They have mountaintop homes that are like multi-million dollars. Trump was in there for a while. He bought stuff in there, sold in there. There are a lot of people. Clinton owns in there. So she was asking about the investors that are coming in, that are buying in there. Yes, the United States is really taken over inside in there. How many people are coming in? I always had a saying, I'm from Philadelphia. I moved to Florida because I couldn't take the cold anymore. Now I'm to the point where if it gets any colder in Florida, I got to go further south. That's what I'm doing. And I tell my family, don't die in the winter because I'm not coming to Philadelphia. It's not happening. So yes, a lot more of Americans are going down there. It is amazing. Capcana does not have a police department. It has a security department. I mean, speeding, running stop signs, it's fun. It's crazy how people drive in there. But yeah, and you don't see cars that are smashed or anything else. I mean, it's just a way of life down there. But yeah, we have a security force that is so tight in there that you're safe. Yeah, they're regular roads. There's no dirt roads.
Now,
Yeah.
did this company help you in terms of investing in these units? Now, you obviously have partners in these 17 units, but does a company that developed this American company, do they help individuals who are coming down to invest with any
So-
incentives?
So what Cheryl was saying earlier, there is no MLS in there. They actually tried, the realtors down there want to meet the people that are going to buy in Capcana. They just don't want the everyday Joe to go in there and buy. They want you to come in, they want to meet you, they want to know who you are, what your background is, because they just don't want party people coming in. They're really strict on who is buying in there. So MLS, it doesn't happen there. So everything happens inside. You have to go and just go find out what it's like. I said, it's secure. It is secure. It is so hard getting through that gate. I mean, I have a proprietarist card. That's what gets me in and out. What a pain in the neck if I forget my card to get in and out.
They don't sell to you?
It could be that way, yes. And there,
Well,
let me
listen, if
tell
they
you,
don't like you, they
Capcana
won't
originally
sell.
started, a lot of the investment in there was drug money. When they built this, there was a lot, there are so many empty units in this area. They don't even have a piece of furniture. They were built from the 70s, 80s, 90s. They have never been used one day. People just invested money to hide it in another third world country. So there are opportunities there, but it's not a drug country. It's not a drug area.
What about selling? So you've got the 17 units. What if they want to sell one? How do you go about that? How difficult it is to sell with the competition of them building?
Selling as in what we're selling in fractional ownership? Oh, fractional ownership, the day you want to get out of it is the day we'll buy you out. We'll just give you your money back, walk away. We're not looking on giving you less money for what you put in. So if you put 100,000 in, you're there for 3 years, you get your 100,000 back. The opportunity comes in when we sell the properties. If we sell a property for more money than what we paid for it, we all share in the profit. So in December last year, a year ago, we bought an $800,000 piece of land. In April, April last year, we sold it for 1.4. I get a check every month for $3,500 for a year because of the investments, $350 per share per year that everybody's getting. So it's about putting money in, it's putting money in real estate, not in somebody else's pocket to make money. When we sell, you make money. That's why I got into this. I went to the Occidental for almost 8 years straight. It was a bunch of home inspection companies. We'd all go down there on vacation together, stay in an all-inclusive. And then Nathan Thornberry, one day when he was there, took a ride and found Capcana. And he went there and he absolutely loved it, bought a place in the marina. And next time we went down, he goes, "You guys got to check this out. Let's go over here and let me show you what we're going to do, how we're going to build this." And to give you a little bit of background, Nathan, a lot of you have been in real estate, so you know about the 90-day home warranty and the 5-year roof leak protection that all the home inspection companies did. He built that and he sold it for $34 million. He's a 43-year-old kid. I want to grab this kid's shirt tails and go anywhere with him because this kid knows how to make money all the time. So, you know, I consider him like my son because he's the same age as my children. But he had forethought in this idea and he turned it into something that we now have, I think, 27 investors total. Different, not all 100,000, different numbers. And like I said, it's about making money. I want to make the investment because I know that someday this is going to be passed on to my children. And that's the idea. So this is, where am I on this one? This is Punta Espada. That's where the golf course is, a top-end golf course there. Every area that has had a nice development all has bars, all has restaurants. So you can go bar, pool hopping, but everybody has a restaurant. And that's the fun thing about it. So usually in the morning we get up, we go for a walk. We have breakfast, go for a walk. Then we'll go to the pool for a while, depending on the afternoon because of the sun, what we're going to do. hang out at the pool a little longer. But about 2:30 in the afternoon, we start going pool bar hopping. Do that till about 5:30, go back, rest for a while. Life doesn't start there till like 9 o'clock at night. Oh, yeah, and let me tell you, it's a transition because I go to bed 8:30 here. Trying to stay up at 9 o'clock to 1 in the morning is really difficult. But this is put a spot, a beautiful golf course. You have to have, everybody has a caddy. I mean, it's about $300 a round per person, but a beautiful, beautiful place. This is Punta Palmero. So the unit that I love is all the way down the far end. This is just looking, it's a beachfront property. There are not many beachfront properties in Cap Cana, but Punta Palmero has a lot of them. And then we have 9 units in there, 9 of all of them. So this is my unit that I love. This is what I look at every morning. Come out, jacuzzi. This is the pool right out my slide door. Inside the unit, like I said, everything is done top of the line. These people really take good care of what we do inside there. This is the establos, the stables. You can go horseback riding. People own horses, do all kinds of, anything you want to. So there's extra things that you can do. Establos also has properties that you can buy, and we don't own any properties in there yet.
Where do they ride? I'm an equestrian. I'm just curious as to where they ride. Do they go on the beaches or do they have?
No, they just,
trails?
it's just a big acreage that they have trails, everything out there. You have to get in the car to go out there. Yes, it is not close to everything. It's probably about a 15, 18-minute ride from where we're at to there. But yeah, all the horses are there. They love their carrots. We take carrots with them. They're really friendly. Paddle is big there. I don't know if anybody knows what paddle is. It's not pickleball. It's paddle. It's inside glass. You play the ball off the glass. Something like that. It is a different type of paddle, but paddle is big. It's big in Europe, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and now down there, South America. This is really big. It's called paddle. Really hard to play. Really, I thought paddleball was hard. This is difficult. But they have
What?
yes, I do.
Isn't it hot in there if it's all glass? The sun's beating down on you?
You don't play in the afternoon.
Mornings or evenings.
You don't play in the afternoon. Yeah, and they actually have tournaments, everything else there. And this is in the establos. This is a water park, El Diablo Water Park. It's the largest water park in Punta Cana, in the Dominican. You can pay to go in there. It's about $70, $75 a person to get in. Stay there for the day. You can go into a particular area, get concierge where they serve you alcohol and everything for
Are
free.
these all close by?
Hmm?
Are these all close by?
I'm sorry.
Are they all nearby?
Yeah, it's all nearby. Yeah, everything is nearby. Everything is by way, and it's not far away. This is probably another 15 minutes away from where we were, like I was saying, we were staying. Yeah. I'm sorry. The worst thing I didn't do, I didn't wear my hearing aids. Again, this is Scape, S-C-A-P-E, Scape Park. They have places where you can go underground caverns. You can visit the monkeys, parrots. It's just a fun place to go. I'll go back on that one. Oh, I went the wrong way. I don't know what I just did. Yeah, see that? I don't know what I did. That's what I get for giving me a button. So in skate park, they have zip lines. There's places you can go for four-wheeling through mudding. You can rent them. There's so many things to do inside. We have, there are all-inclusives in there. Margaritaville is in there. A couple other ones. Eden Rock is a private club. You have to pay $5,000 a year to belong to them. And you go in there and drink and play in the pool and all that stuff with people that are way up there. They think they're better than everybody. This is what I consider it, because they're really strict.
Ann has a question.
Yes, they're getting ready to open the St. Regis. Yes, they're almost, I don't know if they opened it up yet, but they were getting ready to. There's a place called the Sanctuary in there too. It's another inclusive. So yeah, there are resorts inside the resort to go there if you want to be in that type of in that type of place where you can go outside of and visit Wanilo Beach, where it's an open public beach where they have a bar and restaurants. You can sit there, have fun all day. It really gets packed during the day. It's amazing. A lot of the people that come into Copacabana are actually from Santo Domingo. It's considered their place for vacationing, their getaway.
How far away is it from Santo Domingo?
2.5, 3 hours. So that's why people come in and get in there. So I'm going to give you a couple tips too. One, it's an earbud. They're earbuds. These are my best things in the world because I do not speak Spanish. I will never be able to speak Spanish. I'm from Philly. There is not happening. They're earbuds. They're translation earbuds. Y113. That's the name of them. Y113. So when I'm there, depending if I'm like with my servizos and talking to them, I'll give them one. I touch it twice. I speak English. It speaks Spanish in their ear. They touch it twice. They speak Spanish. It speaks English in my ear. $29.
What's it?
Go online. I buy from Amazon. Don't go to eBay. They're $9 on eBay, but I don't know what you're getting on eBay. It's called Y113 earbuds. Y, the letter Y. Letter Y. It is the greatest thing in the world down there. Trying to talk to all these people down there because I have no clue what the hell they're saying.
I will speak it loud. If I were going to go there for vacation, where would I go? I'd fly to the airport and then what would I do? How would I contact these folks? How would I reach out? Where would I want to stay?
So when you go to El Grupo Thornberry, well, it's dominican.us.com. When you go there, you can go down the bottom of the page, talking to them, send them when you want to go there, what you're thinking about going there, whether you're going to do an Airbnb or when you talk to them, when you talk to the concierge online, if you're really serious thinking about coming down, they do give you 2 nights for free. 2 nights that aren't a lot, but they'll get you there, get you the concierge, they'll get the idea of what's going on inside Copacabana. I said it's only about 15, 18 minutes from the airport.
Yeah, I'm for it. I called. So now what happens?
You-
Somebody there to pick me up.
They have somebody, they have an L group, the update. Nope, they
You
haven't.
have
yet.
your earbuds in.
You have to.
You don't need earbuds. Most of the people that work for us are bilingual. So they will pick you up in an El Grupo Thornberry car, which is a blue car. You'll know exactly. They'll put you on a message on your phone, whether it be an Apple or the other one. I call it the other one. But it's also when you do that, they'll type to you in Spanish. I don't know if you guys know, but all you have to do is hold down on it and hit it pops up, says translate, and it puts it in English on your phone.
For those who can't hear you, Anna is saying they use WhatsApp down there. It's
A lot
easier
of
to
them use
communicate.
WhatsApp and they use T-Mobile. T-Mobile doesn't have a international fee. So I use Verizon. I got to pay $12 a day. So
Does anybody have any other questions? Bob, this has been a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to learn about Copacabana.
Hey.
Any other questions from our guests today?
I just think it's a fun opportunity to go down, try it, see a different area. Like I said, it's not crazy. I know what Cheryl does is inside Punta Cana. Like I said, it's not one of those type of resorts where you know what I don't like about when I think back with the resorts, when you go down there with the Occidental, it's like being on Carnival cruise ship eating. Everybody's putting their hands in the food, everything. I don't do Carnival. I can't handle that. But, so when you get there, you have food, you can cook. You can go out there, there's restaurants there. We have the fishing lodge. Nathan owns a restaurant there called The Scene. They play movies, they have music on the weekends, DJ. So there's a whole area of restaurants there in Fishing Lodge. There's a place called Cocobongo right outside of, it's in Punta Cana outside of this. Big party place, dancing, all kinds of, there's so many things to do there outside of, and it's very, very safe. That's what I really love about this because when you're in this resorts, you didn't want to go outside because number one, I don't speak it. You know, I just felt out of place out there. So being here, I feel very comfortable because most of the people are bilingual and it really helps out a lot. So if you have got any questions, go to dominican.us.com. There's so much information on there. Nathan is on there. He has when he does one of his videos, he'll give you his WhatsApp phone number, and you can talk to him about anything that's going on down there. Biggest thing is we're there to protect you. We're there to protect all of our money. It's a United States-based company, and we just want everybody to have fun.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One other thing, waiting for some ladies to show our panorama here. One of our speakers, Maria Marlinaro, is involved in a organization at Ocoa Bay. Now, we've got slides.
We're supposed to have slides.
Supposed to have
There,
slides.
here comes Denise with the slides. She's coming now. Unfortunately, she couldn't come. The speaker couldn't come today. She had an emergency. So we only have just a few minutes to review the slides, but it is a new viticultural real estate resort of the Caribbean. Basically, it's a winery in Punta Cana in a sort of a remote location. I think it's a little bit
Azura, it's in Azura.
Azora. Okay.
And we'll show the slides. She'll show the slides here. There's a winery there, and she's in part of the development. I'm standing over here because I can't see it. She's part of the development for this area, and I'm not quite sure exactly what they're doing, but they're going to be having residences. There's going to be a hotel. Currently, there is a thank you. Currently, they have an infinity pool and a club, but it's all in development. So it's kind of far out there, but they've got, you can see, you'll be able to see in 1 second, the amount of beach that they have there. The infrastructure is being built, from what we understand. A lot of roads are going out to that development. Let's see if we can get, are they coming up? But right now they have a winery, and the developers have asked for more opportunities to develop, not to develop, but to have a park. Oh, here we go. Okie dokie. All right, so Ocoa Bay, this is part of what's there right now. There's a great deal of wine property there, and they're selling their wine. You can see that from over there, Ocoa Bay Wines. Beautiful, it's to the left. And this luxury sustainable hotel, spa and wellness. I'm just repeating what she has sent us for you. But it's in the works. Here's your infinity pool. Again, they have a very, very long beach area. You can see it's in the south area, quite a distance from Punta Cana. And the bypass, as she mentioned, is going under construction as well. But it's going to be quite a development.
Well, look at that. It's 1.5 hours driving distance from Santo Domingo, or only 15 minutes by helicopter.
Yeah.
So if anybody has a helicopter and they want to just fly over, it won't take you long at all.
And once they get the bypass, now you can see it. And in a minute, there's going to be a slide showing the amount of the beach as well. But, okay, there you go. Now you can see this is what they're talking to at the top. They're trying to get more, so it's going to be a park. There are going to be residences on the hillsides as well, and 60,000 square meters for development. And there'll be residences. They're going to be kind of little round things. That's all I can describe. They're like little villas, but they're not attached.
There they are.
That's your infinity pool, and that's the clubhouse, and there are your wineries around here. So you can see that they're going to be building the 120-unit luxury hotel, spa, wellness center, 30 to 70 villas, but industrial or pedestrian bridge, sorry, and a lot of future development. So it's going to be kind of a unique property. We really don't know that too much about it. We didn't really see anything about pricing. I'm not even sure that they have the pricing at this point, but it's something to kind of keep an eye out for at Ocoa Bay. So it's something to watch, and we have her contact information, Maria Molinaro, and she's a friend of Elizabeth Anzolini's. So Elizabeth is a dear friend of hers, and she will help you also with any information. And here you can see the size of the beach.
Unfortunately for us, we were supposed to get some wine from Ocoa Bay Winery.
A
It was
case of
supposed to be
wine.
delivered, but it didn't come in time. So sadly, we won't be enjoying that, but we will be enjoying other wine. So don't
Right,
worry.
right.
But over on the table back there, we have bottles, empty bottles of the winery. Yes, which apparently Elizabeth collected from, from this lady's
From
home. She
yeah,
still has a home here
Ocoa,
in
yeah.
Sarasota, and she also owns several businesses here in
Right.
Sarasota.
And that's Maria Marlinino. So you can see the winery area here as well. So there isn't a whole lot there. I know there is one picture of a freezer, or a facility that they're going to use as a home, but I have not seen that. But you can see the infinity pool, the extension of the wine, which is obviously fun. So it's going to be quite a development. There you go. The bodega, Ocoa Wines, and they have that on site as well. And they have a restaurant. So it's, this is about as much as I can tell you about it, but we just want to make sure everybody had an opportunity to see this.
Yeah, and the presentation will
go.
also be in the
Yeah. There you go. Those will be the individual properties.
Well, looks awesome. Wish we could have heard the presentation from her. I do know that they do like retreats and events and that kind of thing. So you can go there with your group and they'll host you and do like the whole wine experience as well. So look forward.
So we just wanted to share this with you folks. So take a peek at that, the website. We will be getting any information about that as well. So that's future development, as you can see. So, and then we want to get back to our guests, if they're still on, in case we have any questions.
Just say thank you to
Cheryl and
everybody for
David.
joining us today. I don't know if they are still on, and it's okay. I think they're gone. We're just after time anyways,
We're
but
here.
I did also want to mention that we are having an Italian cultural night is going to be on April 2nd. That's next week at Bavaro's. That is a Italian restaurant in downtown Sarasota, super cute. It is $20 for GBC members, $25 if you're not a member. So it makes sense to be a member if you're, I think everybody in here is a member anyways. But that's going to be fun. It's going to be from 4:30 to 6:30. We're going to have some Italian food. We're going to listen to some Italian music, and we're going to have a few presentations, short ones, from some people. Dave Swenson is actually one. He's going to talk about his travels. Dave will be dancing Italian style. I don't know. Actually, I think Barry Grooms told me he was going to sing Italian music for me last night, but he might have had a drink when he said that. So I'm not sure. But it's going to be super fun, and we hope that you guys can all come. There's flyers up here if you want to take them. And
I'm sorry.
I do want to go ahead and thank everybody.
Well, I want to, Cheryl and David are still online, so I want to give everybody an opportunity if they have another question for them, since we're still here, and I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, fine. It's good.
Anybody have anything? We want to thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a special, special time for us, and we really appreciate it. And join us for this. And Bob, thank you for joining
One
us
more
as
thing.
well.
Bob is dying to say one more thing.
Okay, so I'm not a realtor and I never think about this. For you guys who bring someone down, you get 3%.
Oh, well, that's important. Yes, you
I got to
definitely.
say that
money's
because I get
important.
shot if I don't think.
Okay.
But you get
Great.
3% if you bring somebody.
3%
Okay.
of like 100,000.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and there are goodies in the back. And thank you for our guests. We really appreciate this to be such a special day for us, and appreciate all your